welcome to the Magic Mirror. As you can see, it's going to be about Mortal Kombat that came out in 1992. So da. No, just kidding. I will start out with the movies and then go on to the games, and warning for like violence, blood, and all of that good stuff. So if you're not into this kind of stuff, I will say like click away from this, because like Mortal Kombat is the father to, or great grandfather to, all fight against each other games, or how to say that. So I will recommend that you go someplace else if you are not into violence. But yeah, without further ado, first of all, I would like to talk about the movies, because maybe I'm one of the weird ones that actually like the two movies that there is. I like Mortal Kombat because like it has good scenes, and I think like it has like good choreography. It has like the fight scenes, of course, that are amazing, and I think like the characters are doing what they're supposed to. I especially like Christopher Lambert as Raiden. I must admit, like, Raiden was one of my favorite characters, and I will go through that when we go to the game. But I really must admit, I enjoy most of the scenes from Mortal Kombat. I still remember some of the scenes with, for example, Sub-Zero. Making this bubble around himself with his belt and freezing everything, and water being tossed towards him, and like this spike of ice impaling him to the wall. And of course, warning for spoilers if you haven't watched the movies and you haven't played the games. I'm so sorry, but I'm just going to ramble on here about scenes that I remember and I liked. And of course, there's the scene with Scorpion where it comes out of his hand, the plant thing, and like he drags Johnny Cage to hell, or how to say that, and he becomes the skeleton, and you're just like, oh my god, this is amazing, like breathing fire at him. And I think like there's just a lot of things to appreciate, a lot of good scenes that I actually think like was really funny, and also really cool looking, and actually also sometimes a little bit imitating or being like ominous, because like Shang Tsung is one of the evil ones, the evil doer here, and him taking the souls from the dead character, so how to say that, was a little bit imitated, like being like really frightening for us when we were younger, or how to say that. But maybe that was just me, and nowadays it's not that common to be like scared of that stuff. But I must admit, like, I really like the storylines in both of them. In Annihilation, it's a little bit too mixed up with everything, but I still feel like there's stuff in Annihilation that I actually really like. Again, the choreography, the fight scenes, and like the scenery. I think like they did a okay job in what I was expecting them for making, or how to say that. And I will say you can sit down with your family or loved ones or whatever and have a good time, like sitting down and watching it, almost like a B movie, or how to say that. But yeah, I do feel like there's still some of the jokes that works. For example, the Johnny Cage versus Goro, or like the newer ones where like there's the Baraka fight and stuff like that. But I know like it goes by really fast, and there's just good things that they have taken from the games and put into the movies. And to start speaking about the games, I remember we had the Mortal Kombat for PlayStation. I don't remember if I tried it on the arcade, but I do remember button mashing a lot to try to complete the game with my brother, and actually also fighting against my brother was really nice to do. So yeah, that was how we came through the games. I do remember we were switching with each other, because like as I said in the start, One of my favorite characters was Raiden, so I could come pretty far with Raiden. And my brother's characters was Sub-Zero and Scorpion, so like we were switching in between characters and completing everything with it. I also tried the new Mortal Kombat where there's this X-ray vision and stuff like that. And even though I think it's a little much, I also feel like that's where the game had to go, or how to say that, to be like become even more brutal. And of course, you could plug in the codes for even more blood, or codes for like getting special moves and stuff like that. And you could make a combination on your gamepad, or how to say that, your controller, in all days, so you could get like special moves, and there's special stuff going on in the background of the games. I do believe like there's this where you could fight against each other, and if you kicked somebody off the ledge, or how to say that, they will fall onto spikes. And that was really, you were just like, oh my god, I'm going to fall through the spikes. That was really, really brutal. And you could also like make an uppercut and then come into spikes in the ceiling. And like there's some gameplay where you could be thrown out into acid. And there's a gameplay where you're in a forest and there's these trees that can actually eat you if you're getting the right combinations. I do remember one specific gameplay, and I don't know if this still works, but I do remember there's a lot of monks, and they're making this big summoning circle to a world. And if you made the right combination, you could kick your opponent into that whirlpool, and then they would die in the overworld, or how to say that. But that was a little bit wild and a little bit too much. And of course, there's also the animality, where you can change into animals and like defeat your opponent. And they also try to recreate that in Annihilation. And I actually think like the main characters look like the animals that they were supposed to represent, even though like I know that there are other animals in the games and stuff like that, but I still feel like it looks okay. And of course there's the babality, so you could make your opponent into a baby. And like there's the, if you had full health and you kicked your opponent's ass, or how to say that, sorry for saying that, but like if you were like doing everything that you could and you got flawless victory, like there's coming this voice up that said like flawless victory. And there's also like the toasty, and there's all of these good stuff going around like and of course there was the theme song that I already have mentioned that gets stuck in your brain. And actually playing Mortal Kombat now, I think like they are pretty clever with still having some of the combination going through the game. So even if you're used to the old Mortal Kombat games, you could use the same moves and get the, for example, the thunder from the sky when you're Raiden, or the thunder hammer and stuff like that. So yeah, I really think like there's a lot of thinking behind these games, and I think like Mortal Kombat is one of the games that I was really influenced from when I was younger, and still are influenced to of like to this day, because I still like Mortal Kombat. And I was one of the children, like Nostalgic Critic is saying, like that run out in the street and were like, Mortal Kombat. I do remember we all did that for some odd reason, and like try to fight each other, quote unquote. Like we didn't fight each other for real, but we were just like imagining that we're one of the characters from the games and we were fighting each other. So yeah, that was pretty fun as well. I must admit, like Mortal Kombat is stable as all of the other good old games, but I think, like as I said in the start, this is the game that inspired all versus each other's games. So the Justice Among Us or Injustice Among Us and all of the future versus games is inspired by Mortal Kombat. So yeah, that's actually all that I had to say for the Magic Mirror today. I hope that you enjoyed this. So do remember that inspiration is right around the corner. Do remember to take care of yourself and loved ones. And that was actually all. And the reason why I'm not talking about the animated series is because I haven't watched that a lot. I only saw a couple of episodes, and that was that. I didn't think it was anything special, but yeah, that's just how it is. Okay, yeah. Bye.